believe it or not, it's incredibly simple to get started. It's not a complicated process to have your own business. The hardest thing about having your own business is just making sure you have clients. Hello and welcome to the Jonah podcast. I'm your host Baxter, and today is episode 113 of the series. If you want to grow as an artist and learn what it takes to make it as a career, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Today in the show, we'll begin diving into the world of business and starting your own business as a sole trader, just like me, and whether or not that's for you. If you're new to the podcast is a weekly series where I bring on guests in the film and game industries to talk about their journey, thoughts on student education, you name it folks, you hear it here on the podcast. But today you're stuck with me, so I hope you enjoy as always. So we're going to be diving into, like I said, business, but most importantly, we're going to be breaking it down as simple as possible. I don't want to overcomplicate things. I just want to introduce you to some of the things I've learned along the way through starting my business and all the opportunities it's brought to me over the years. And like I said, I love it. It's been the best decision I've ever made. And you never know, it might be the thing for you. So fingers crossed, today's episode is helpful for you. So I've put together a variety of bullet points just here on my right. Just covering a variety of different topics that I think will be very helpful for you guys on your journey. So where does this all begin? So first of all, when it comes to starting a business, you have to register. So basically, I'm going to be covering from my perspective in the UK, but I know the same kind of principles apply in other countries. However, obviously, I'll give my perspective from here in the UK, and you guys can apply it where you guys are. So here in Scotland or in UK, we have to apply to the HMRC. So you basically register your business and you have to come up with your business name, etc. And the beautiful thing about having your own business is, believe it or not, it's incredibly simple to get started. It's not a complicated process to have your own business. The hardest thing about having your own business is just making sure you have clients. So when you're starting out, the hardest part is actually getting that momentum coming into play and actually generating money from that. And there's many ways of gaining multiple clients and being stable and having the life that you want. And I'll be able to explain that or explain my process of what I've done over the years through marketing in order to make sure that I don't run out of clients, because there's nothing worse than not having money coming in into the bank account, etc. And we'll go over banks as well. I'll break down some of the processes about how I feel you should manage things through my experiences, and also the big question, like, how do you handle your money? How do you know how much to charge based off your level of skill set? And most importantly, just taking that leap to give it a go and seeing if it's the right thing for you. So just to give you a bit of a breakdown before we dive into the registration part and also more on the business side of things, I want to kind of give you a wee bit of insight of my story in terms of the reasons why I went into starting my own business in the film and game industries, but also doing consulting as well. So if you guys have been tuning into the podcast for a while, you'll know through my discussions over the years with multiple people, I consider myself not the quickest of learners, and the way I approach things is incredibly I wouldn't say OCD, but I was like, I love things to always be done right. I'm always questioning things, making sure that I'm doing things the right way, gathering information from the best people I possibly can, and not just trying to just gather information for the sake of it. And I knew that in order for me to live the life that I wanted to live, I needed to be independent in terms of having my own business and running things the way that I do things. And it's been the best decision I've ever done, and it might be the thing for you. I've done obviously the role of working in studios, etc., in AAA, and then also in film for VFX, etc. And I still loved it. However, I know for me, this was the next step up to get where I wanted to be in life, and most importantly, help you guys full time doing content creation through podcasting and teaching. So it's been the best decision I've ever made. So I just want to give you that kind of basic breakdown of the reasons why I went into my own business, and you need to start putting together the questions of what would be the reasons why you would want to start your own business. Are you a similar boat to me, or is there simply no jobs available in terms of studios, etc., where you are, and maybe going independent as a sole trader is the best thing for you? And the good thing about this as well is that you don't need to just sacrifice everything and become a freelancer, etc. You can do it part-time. So you could get a part-time job and then also have your business, and then just make sure you got your paperwork, etc., and you're recording that correctly. And I'll dive into that. So your practical books, so recording your income, recording your expenses, and making sure you've got your backups as well, just in case. And you never know, it could be the right thing for you. It doesn't have to be a stressful situation. I think when I'll even admit, when I started my business, I was questioning a lot of things, and then I realized, you know what, this isn't scary. This is actually incredibly enjoyable, and it was the right path for me. So put together a little plan. Then there's no rush. You don't have to jump straight into it. Just that's what today's podcast is all about. Is just to kind of give you a basic rundown of what to expect, and as always, everyone has different perspectives on things, but I'm very positive about starting your own business. I love it, so we'll take it from there. So like I said, the first thing you have to do is register your business in the HMRC, so HM Revenue and Customs, which you can find on the gov.uk website. And then when it comes to that, basically you have to apply for self-assessment, and basically the gov.uk reviews your application process for your company and make sure that everything is accurate and straightforward. There's 100 billion things I can talk about HMRC regarding the registration process, but to keep it nice and simple, I just wanted to say you're basically registering your business, and you can come up with a name, etc. And as always, make sure to check that your name's not taken. A good kind of tip sometimes, depending on what kind of approach you want to go this, or how you want to approach this, but you can even just use your own name. If that's something that you feel you want to do, then that's okay. Just use your own name. It could be whatever your name is, and then add whatever final name at the end of it. It doesn't have to be complicated. So when it comes to starting your own business, the main thing you need to keep on top of is your practical books. So basically the money coming in, so your income and your expenses. So what are you paying for the company in terms of, are you using software? Do you have, obviously you've got your paperwork, you've got your printer, so you've got your ink, you've got all the tools and the accessories that you need in order to do the job that you're trying to deliver for your clients. So when it comes to the expenses on your practical books, you know what's coming in on the bank. And the best tip when it comes to this, or this is my personal preference, you don't have to, but it's what I feel makes things a lot easier, is have a separate bank account for your business. So and then also have a separate email for your business. And as a result, things become clean, it becomes easier to manage and easier to get to that next step. So make sure that you're learning how to record your practical books. So for example, if you have a client who's a recurring client, and say every month, obviously they pay you, and that will go in the income. And then obviously when you send away for your tax at the end of the year, end of the financial year, all this will be noted down accordingly. And what I do, and you don't, but the good thing is you don't have to do this, but anymore. And this is the beauty of online with Excel, is you don't have to have backups. You don't have to have paperwork anymore. But in terms of like a full printed out version, but it is helpful. But HMRC accepts digital copies, so you can just send them the digital copy version, which is perfect. So it makes things a lot easier. It means there's less paperwork everywhere. But I do it just in case. And I do recommend having a backup. It just helps you have that peace of mind, I feel. So if you're okay with that, so doing that little extra bit of work just to keep organized and keep everything in place, then I highly recommend having a folder with your dividers in, etc., from January to December, etc. But in this case, so April is the end of the financial year, so make sure you've got your year starting from there all the way to the end. And that's the best advice I would give. And you just have that in Polly Pockets, and then you have all everything that you've paid for in terms of your expenses, but also all your income coming in as well. And that'll keep you nice and structured. So what else? So like I said, bank accounts. So you don't have to, like I said already, you don't have to have a business bank account, but but I do recommend having it. It just means things aren't going to get mixed up or overcomplicated, and it just keeps it nice and tidy, nice and clean for you. And it's really that simple. I think that's the beauty of it. And you may be thinking, Ross, it can't be this simple, surely not. But believe it or not, it's not a scary thing. Things only become scary once you begin to add a lot more in. So for example, the biggest thing that results in things getting a wee bit more complicated is when you start hiring people. And as a result, your practical books become a bit more complicated because there's obviously wages to give out and so forth. But when it comes to just you doing your own art or doing whatever service you are, for example, one of my services that I provide is obviously consulting and then also presenting in film and game. And as a result, I just make sure it's just nice and simple for me because it's just me. It's just me running my business. There's nobody else I'm working for. It's just me and my clients, and that's it. So it's back and forth with them. It's not me having to pay wages or anything. So that's fine. So make sure you're on top of that. And when it comes to your tax savings and then also your national insurance, the rule of thumb, or what I was taught, was every time you get your income in, make sure to put 30% of your income into another account. So basically have a tax savings account. Once again, you don't need to, but it's helpful. So basically you have that money in an extra account where all your savings, all your tax goes into, and basically you don't touch that until the end of the financial year, so you can pay your tax. And the reason why I do this, so every time I'm working with a client, money comes in obviously at the end of the month. And then whatever that income is, depending on how many clients I've worked for that month, I then put 30% of that, and that covers everything. So I have no stress at the end of the year. I'm on point. I'm organized. I'm ahead of the game. So when it comes to paying for my tax, I'm sorted and I'm ready to go. So I always believe doing that. Don't wait to the end of the year. I think too many people still do that, and it gets a bit too nerve-wracking. So I highly recommend don't do that. Keep on time. You just have to check. Like I check once every weekend, and it doesn't have to be. It's not a scary thing. I promise. It's literally just making sure the money's come in, you've recorded it accurately, and then you've got your expenses, etc. And then if you do need to add money from another account, say your personal savings, and you want to add that personal savings into your business account, then you just record whatever the bank account's name's called, etc., and the amount that's coming in. And then when you show it to when you submit it to, for tax, HMRC will see that, and they'll also be able to make sure everything's accurate just from that. And that's beautiful. It's not really a scary thing to talk about. It's just down to being prepared, being organized, and that's why I'm trying to keep this podcast really nice and simple today. Just trying to give you a little rundown of what's going on in the world of starting your own business. So, like I said, make sure to have that extra 30% into that account, and that'll cover your national insurance and also your tax savings. So the next one, business email. I said this earlier. I think it's really important to have a separate business email, just for clarity, keeping things clean, and what you can do, whether it's on Outlook or whether it's on Gmail, keeping things clean in your folders on the left, and then you can color coordinate things based off your clients. So say if you have 3 clients that you work with each week, that could be simply a different color, blue, red, or green, whatever it is. This is the way I do things, keep it nice and simple. And then that means every time an email comes through, you then send it to that folder, and you've got everything there just in case you need anything for future reference, even if it's for income and stuff. And sending invoices to your clients. So having an additional email does help. Once again, it's not required. You can use your normal email, but it just separates things, and that's the reason why so many people do it. And then once again, going back to the backup paperwork, it's just handy to have. So the next one, which is the important one. So the reason why most businesses fail and struggle to keep in business is simply they don't have enough clients. So if as you guys know, if you've been tuning into the podcast for a while, I've always focused on helping people. So my priority has always been helping students, helping artists within the creative industries as best as I can. I always knew early on that the best thing you could do is helping people and building a brand. And as a result, building that brand over the years, and through the podcast, through presenting within the creative industries for film and game, I've been able to always have clients. So I've never ran out of work. And that plays a big part in when to decide to start your business. Now, I'm not saying you have to go build massive following, but it does help, because when it comes to a business, it's important to learn how to market your business. So diving into the world of marketing. Marketing is also something that I specialize in. It's something I have a massive passion for. I've been doing it for a long time, and there's multiple ways to drive traffic to your business. But most important, when it comes to marketing, you want to learn how to deliver or to drive the right traffic and get the right audience for so that you're finding the people that you want to work with. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be taking on this new business and you're just doing things that you don't want to do. And that's why I think if you are thinking about going down the route of being self-employed, first think about, how can I add value? How can I build a community? And this is my perspective, and this is what I think is going to be the most rewarding thing for you in the long run. Like, things don't happen overnight, but how can you help? Like, if you're a concept artist or an animator or an environment artist, what can you do differently? How can you help and build a brand around the thing that you care about? And as a result, turn those fans or super fans / audience into customers and clients. Like, that's the beauty of it. So figure out how, like, what kind of avenues is best. Most importantly, know where your audience is. If you are, for example, a concept artist, maybe Instagram is the right place for you. Maybe teaching concept art tutorials on YouTube is the right place for you. There's multiple ways of generating income, but it's finding the two most important questions you need to ask yourself is, how does my customers buy the product or service, and where is my customers? What platform are they on? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Facebook, Instagram? There's so many different ways of generating income, but you want to generate the right income, and that takes time. So make sure you do your research, so know where they are. So for example, for me, my audience is on YouTube. Therefore, I focus my efforts around YouTube and providing you guys who's listening to the podcast as best quality content as I can, and that helps me with my work. From now on the Student Art Podcast, I would like to showcase your artwork on the show. All you have to do to have the chance to have your work on display is share your favourite portfolio piece as an ArtStation link or Vimeo link in the comments section below. Before we get back into the podcast, I just want to say thank you to our Patreons. Recently, I've started a Patreon page to help bring better quality podcasts for you, and I'm looking forward to growing our community of artists to help you get one step closer to your dream job. If you would like to become a patron of the Student Art Podcast, you can find the link in the description below. Let's get right back into the podcast. So when it comes to obviously building your online presence, etc., and trying to find different ways to generate multiple streams of income, there's so many ways you can do it. There's crowdfunding campaigns, there's consulting, merchandise, sponsorships, affiliate marketing, content marketing, which is my personal favorite, advertising, email marketing, and most importantly, trying to figure out how do you use word of mouth. So word of mouth is the most powerful thing in the world when it comes to marketing, because if people like what you're doing, they will spread it. So make sure you deliver value. So what did I mean there? For example, on the list we've got crowdfunding. One of the main crowdfunding places at the moment when it comes to artists is Patreon. But in order to grow your Patreon, you obviously need to add value. So I've just started a Patreon, but the question is, what can I do to add value so I can get more patrons? So making sure that I know what my audience likes the most, figuring out how can I add value to them, what services can I provide through Patreon. So the 3 different tiers or multiple tiers, it doesn't just have to be 3, it could be multiple, it could be 5, but making sure that they're going to get something out of it. Because at the end of the day, you want to deliver high quality content. It's always about delivering great results so that they get what they want. And when it comes to crowdfunding as well, you can also offer consulting services. For example, I know many people who are good friends, incredible artists, who also offer consulting, whether it's mentoring, through their Patreon. So you can offer, teaching, mentoring. There's so many different ways to do it. So it's a great way to generate multiple streams of income. If you have a bigger brand, if you have more following, eventually turning your brand into merchandise. So you can start going down the route of, for example, the most cliche ones are like mugs, etc., and so forth, even hats and that. But make sure you go back to the most important question though. What does your clients want? For example, we're in art, so artists, we love computers, we love we need good ergonomic chairs and stuff. We have mouse mats, you name it. There's so many different things that as artists we need on a regular basis. So what merchandise can you choose that relates to your brand and most importantly relates to your audience? So that's another route to go down. To me, the most viable one when creating a brand, once you've got more traffic, so once you've got a few thousand followers and so forth, is going down the route of sponsoring. Because sponsoring, to me, based off my discussions with friends who've got hundreds of thousands of followers, is sponsoring is where most of the money is. In terms of there's more room for stability there. That's just my preference. Some people may disagree, but I do think sponsorships is the right way to go. And when it comes to sponsorships as well, you can learn a lot in terms of how to message people, how to value your worth. So for example, if you have 1,000 followers, how loyal are those followers? Take YouTube, for example. Does your followers listen to the content you create? Do they engage? Is there high engagement in the comment section and so forth? Are you bringing value? And then you can use that to show to your sponsors and increase your cost. It's all about delivering value. People want high quality results, and as a result they'll then pay you for it. That's the beauty of it. So another thing is affiliate marketing. So for example, say once again you're building your brand and you want to then offer products. So basically affiliate marketing is basically finding products for your customers, and you get a commission of the click or the sell. For example, say you choose a high ticket product. Say for example, I was promoting Wacom tablets on the podcast, and you chose to click the link. So when you click the link, it'll then take you to, say for example, it was Amazon. So Amazon has an affiliate program. It'll then take you to that, and then through that click and that transaction, I will get a commission. Depending on the rules of Amazon. So there's multiple programs for artists. There's and just for everyone in general. There's Amazon as an affiliate program. Nvidia has an affiliate program. Adobe has an affiliate program. Say for example, you're a photographer and or an editor, and you're listening right now, and you're wanting to generate money. You can start with affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is incredibly viable. So many people are utilizing it, and the key, once again, all these different ways of generating income to help you grow your business all comes from building a community. And that's why I think building a community beforehand is super important. But once again, you don't have to. If you deliver great results with your art, then the clients will still come. And then you can use word of mouth as a catalyst to gain more clients. And a good tip when it comes to if you just want to focus on the art, when you write your proposal for your clients. So for example, you've got your proposal, your document offering, say you have 3 options available, bronze, silver and gold for your client. Make sure in the terms and agreement at the bottom that you also include, for example, referrals. Please refer me to your client, to your contacts, etc. And as a result, that's part of the agreement. So when they sign it, at the end of, say for example, you have a 3-month project working on them, you can then ask them, so can you please refer me as you agreed on the contract? And as a result, that's how you get new clients. So that's a small little add-on you can add to your proposal agreement to get new work. So for example, that's the beauty of it. So I highly recommend to do that as well. And over the year, etc., I will be diving into this in far more depth for you guys, with breakdowns, etc., more visuals, and actually make it a lot more clearer. But once, or as I said at the start, I just want to kind of give you a little teaser, a little taster of all of this, so it kind of gets you thinking and gets you possibly going down the route of being self-employed. And like I said, I love it. So moving on to the next thing. So we talked about affiliate marketing. Now let's talk about what I think. Yes, I'm biased, but I know how powerful this is. So I do content marketing, and I also help clients with content marketing. So I help businesses build their brand on YouTube. YouTube to me is like the creme de la creme. I don't even know how to say it, but it's the easiest to understand formula out of all of them. So I've looked into Facebook, I've looked into Instagram, I've looked into Twitter, and so forth. There's multiple platforms, but to me, YouTube is the king of getting new clients. For example, the blessing I've had on the podcast is I've had the pleasure to talk to so many people. So I've interviewed hundreds of people on my podcast, and then also presenting on my job as well. And as a result, when I message these people, it's literally like an evergreen growing tree. So basically, my clients will, like, I just never run out of work, and it's the beauty of it, and it's by helping people. But to go back to this, the reason why content marketing is so crucial is that the YouTube algorithm is really simple. So YouTube just wants you, like every platform, to stay on the platform. So say, for example, you create a 5-minute environment art tutorial, or a 5-minute concept or animation, whatever it is. Maybe it's props or rigging. It could be anything. And say, for example, people watch 50% of that video, so you got 50% watch time. That is incredible. That's great watch time, and it's so easy to get watch time, but it just comes down to you. So how good are you at what you do, and how simple can you make it? And as a result, YouTube will recommend it. So the way YouTube works is basically you have click-through rate, which is your title and thumbnail. So how engaging does it get people to click? And that's why people always talk about thumbnails. But the most important thing on YouTube is your watch time. So basically, are you delivering the promise on what you said you will? So for example, take me doing this podcast right now. How much value am I bringing? Am I helping you? And as a result, the better the video, the more views we'll get, and exponentially it'll take off. The hardest part about doing podcasting on YouTube is it's long form content, meaning it's hours content. It's not like 5 minutes. Shorter content is far more superior on YouTube. I do, if you are ever considering going down the podcast route, I do believe Spotify is the best route to go down. Yes, I like to do podcasts on YouTube, and that's just because I love YouTube. YouTube's my passion. It's one of my main passions, and I will always stay on YouTube. And as a result, if it means it's going to be a wee bit slower growth, then so be it. That's okay. But YouTube can be incredibly rewarding for your business. So say, for example, you're a concept artist. What content can you create as a concept artist that can drive traffic? And the way to identify trends, so and this applies to everything. So if you go into Google Trends, so literally just type in Google Trends on Google, and you can look for keywords. So keywords, so you can type in, say for example, let's always do the famous ones. So let's do software at the moment. So we've got Maya in the middle, 3ds Max, and then Blender. So if you add all these three into Google Trends, you can see how much each of those topics are getting searched. Right now, this is Maya. So Maya's at the bottom at the moment. Then Max is a little bit higher, and then Blender's like that. So Blender's taking over everything. Hence why everyone's talking about Blender so much. And also because it's free, and because it's free, it's driven millions of people searching it. So what does that mean? You can then create content around Blender, if that's what you want to do, and if you've got a passion for Blender, and you can use that as your keyword. But there is one caveat there you have to realize. If the best research is Blender, what that means is that there's so many people talking about it. So the hardest part is competing against them. So basically making sure that you rank higher in videos. So all the videos on YouTube from top to bottom is literally from the best video to the bottom. So say for example I typed in Blender, how to animate in IK and FK animation in Blender. Then whatever's at first at the top is the most recommended. It's the most ranked, so it's ranked video. It'll be one all the way to whatever, all the way to the bottom, and that's the numbers you're competing for. So what to do if you're doing content marketing on YouTube is go into a thing called vidIQ. So if you install vidIQ, so vidIQ allows you to identify how much people are searching these terms in terms of on YouTube. So you can see if there's a small amount of traffic for Blender, or a medium amount of traffic on YouTube, or an incredibly high traffic. So then what you want to do is then look for another topic that will act as a long tail. So basically you've got Blender as your main topic, and then you've got a long tail, so an additional topic, but that additional topic is less searched, and as a result you have more chance of gaining traffic because the long tail one, so the additional topic, less people are talking about it, and as a result, if you applied the law of the category, which basically means being first in a market, take for example the juggernauts in the industry, you've got Apple. So Apple at the moment as a computer company will have a large percentage of the company, say 40% of money is going to Apple. Then the second biggest competitor might even only be at 15%, and then the third might only be at 10%. Does that make sense? So that's the power of being first. So figure out what category you can talk about in content marketing that will give you leverage, and as a result you will be first, and then you focus on that content for a while. So say for example you wanted to do, I don't know, horror concept design based off of Goosebumps, and if you research and make sure that there's not many people talking about it, and you keep making content about that, you'll become first for those terms, and you'll become first for the word Goosebumps, and as a result your followers will increase because it's targeting the Goosebump audience. I hope that makes sense. I know that's a lot to talk about, but that's the beauty of content marketing. YouTube will literally reward you if you deliver that promise. If you get people to watch, it will recommend it. Simple as that. So many people overcomplicate YouTube. Trust me, it's that simple. I help. The clients that I work for, I get hundreds of thousands of views for them because I know how it works and it's beautiful. I love seeing it. But when it comes to my content, the harder part with what I do and the mistakes I made over the years is, like I said, I branched out into so many areas. So you guys know I interview animators, I interview concept artists, environment artists, texture artists, materials artists, you name it, I interview all of them. Why? Because that's what I care about. But as a result, it's meant that YouTube struggles to know what my channel is about. Yes, they know it's an art channel, but because there's so many different topics, instead of being niched down, that's the importance of being of niching down, is it lets everyone who has a passion for that go to that. So that's what I think is the key when it comes to helping build your business, is content marketing. So what issues, concerns, and desires do your clients want that you can solve through content marketing? For example, how can you help environment artists? Say you're an environment artist, a stylized environment artist, and what questions can you address that they're going to be searching for the most? So looking for their FAQs, their frequently asked questions, and then create content around it, and boom, there you go, you're sorted. It's awesome. I love talking about this stuff. By the way, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. As always, smash the like button and make sure you're subscribed. So, moving on to the next subject. So, what have we talked about? We've talked about affiliate marketing. We've talked about content marketing. There's also advertising as well. There's also email marketing and word of mouth. So, word of mouth, this is why delivering high quality content is crucial. So, making sure you're creating the best possible results and that you can. And there's a famous book, I've talked about it previously on the podcast, but it's called Contagious. I've actually got it behind me. It's an orange book. It's called Contagious, and it's an incredibly powerful book. If you're about to go into the world of starting your own business, I highly recommend to read Contagious. I'll also talk about in a few minutes about the best books that I recommend, and also the one YouTuber you have to watch. When it comes to business, when it comes to marketing and building your brand, there's only one content creator you have to watch. This is my preference, but I think everyone else overcomplicates things. This person who's taught me and have the pleasure to also talk to many times in person, he's helped change my life, helped me triple my income, and this is the person that I'll be explaining shortly. But there's so many ways of building your brand through marketing. So once again, let's go over them one last time before we move on to the next subject. So there's crowdfunding, there's consulting, merchandise, sponsorships, affiliate marketing, content marketing, paid advertising, email marketing, and then, like I said, once again, content marketing and maximizing your word of mouth referrals. There's about 19 successful ways of generating successful traffic. You can even go down to well, actually, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's the best book to check all the most used and most successful ways of marketing is called Traction by Gabriel, and I believe it's Gabriel Weinberg, and he talks about all the different ways that you can use to help build your brand. One of the other ones he uses for marketing is events, so attending events, building a presence there and engaging with people out there. That's why everything is always about connections. Who do you know? How can you talk to people? But most importantly, how can you help people? So that's another important avenue to go down to. So the next one is going to sound so obvious, but in order to keep customers coming back, deliver what you say you will. So the easiest way to increase your income is delivering so much value and over delivering. So basically the rule is under promise and over deliver. So, and make sure it's so cliche, but if you deliver what you say you're going to do, and it works for that client and it's great results, they'll come back and they'll also refer you to other people, and as a result, it'll be the domino effect. It'll just keep happening and more people will come in. But don't charge people an insane amount of money if you can't deliver on that. I do think one of the most important things as an artist that we have to get used to is knowing what our worth is. I think a lot of artists undersell themselves, or they don't charge what they actually deserve. Like, I think a lot of people lower their prices way too low, and they actually deserve a lot more. I'm not afraid to ask what I think I deserve, and it took me time to get confidence of that. Like, I'll admit, I was the same as so many people. I was afraid to early on in my career to like triple my income, and then I realized actually what I'm charging now, I could triple it again, because I'm adding so much value for my clients and making sure that the clients are the right fit for what I'm offering, that I'm able to ask for more. And you guys can do the same thing. As always, when it comes to artists, I don't think there's a lot of people talking about money. I think a lot of people that get afraid when bringing up money and stuff. And I understand some aspects of it. Like, obviously, it's a private thing. So I do acknowledge that, and I understand where they're coming from. But I do think getting taught in university, or maybe throw every now and then a question to your lecturers or anybody who could possibly help you with, like, how could I get more comfortable at asking for more money and stuff. Like, I think people wait for too long, or they try to like, it's all about confidence and believing in the service that you provide. I know for a fact what I'm doing, I can deliver it, and as a result, I can get my worth. And I think that's a topic that even just a podcast on its own I will do for you guys. Just talking about money. I've talked about it many times on the podcast, but a far more in-depth one for you I think is crucial. So make sure to check that out. So deliver on what you say you will. So next thing, like I said, best books that I feel that everybody who's thinking about starting a business and building their brand, etc. online, this is through reading constantly all the time, and through learning from what I feel is the best person at recommending the right content. So best books I would say is a book called Contagious. So as always, I'll put them in links, all links in the description below. So Contagious, Traction, Marketing Made Simple, the 80-20 principle, and then the 22 Immutable Laws of marketing. And most importantly, one of the most important laws I talked earlier is the law of the category, which to me was game changing. Once I read that and understood the basic principle, it opened up so many avenues for me, because it's simply just saying, are you the first in your market? And how can you become the first in your market so you can become a big fish in a small pond? So I think that's a super important thing to look into. So when it comes to these books, so reading has changed my life. I know a lot of people don't like reading, but if you give it a chance and you read the right books, you can become to enjoy it. So my favorite content creator of all time, and he still is Rick Kettner. Rick Kettner is a business, and he's an entrepreneur, and also YouTuber, who covers all the best books for startups, for product development, for business strategy, for marketing, for self-improvement books, and he breaks them down just beautifully. It's so well done, and every book I've been reading now, a book a week for the last 30 weeks straight or something, and it's changed my life. I promise you. If you don't, you might not like it reading, but if you do want to really grow your brand and start earning a better living and head in the right direction, I do recommend checking out Rick Kettner. So once again, those books are Contagious, Traction, Marketing Made Simple. So Marketing Made Simple, the beauty of this book is it helps you how to create a website, and it breaks down just marketing in the most basic of terms. It's so simply explained. It's insane how powerful it works. And then Contagious is all about the power of word of mouth. So getting people to talk about your product or service, etc., and to basically make that evergreen. So basically making content that lasts a lifetime, constantly bringing in views and money, etc., and clients, which is obviously what we all want. Traction. So Traction breaks down the 19 of the best marketing tactics to help grow your business, such as email marketing. So if you want to create an email list, you can, and all these other 18 additional ones as well. And we've already touched on quite a few of them as well today in today's episode. So make sure to check him out. So Rick Kettner on YouTube, links down in the description below. Another thing when it comes to building your brand to help build your business is you can have multiple streams of income. It doesn't just have to be, say for example, you're doing consulting. Say you're teaching people how to I don't know, draw characters. Really, it could be how to understand the human body, the basics of anatomy. That's the service you provide. So that could be one stream of income. That could be consulting. That could be your main source of income. But then what you could then do is then you could go down the sponsoring route or content marketing route. So say for example you did content marketing, right? So you're creating content around character design. So you're teaching them. So that's another way to generate money and followings. And the question you might be asking, well, Ross, how do you create money from that content marketing? Then, well, what you then do is then you figure out who's the best sponsor. Can anyone sponsor that content that I'm creating? And are people going to be willing to sponsor it? Because at the end of the day, sponsorships are looking for people who are bringing in the views, bringing in the numbers, the followers, the likes, the engagement, and as a result, also helping them out as well. Because it's obviously it's a business relationship. It's back and forth. You want to be delivering the value, but you can then sponsor your content, and you can then, if you're also making content around this as well for your business, you can then merchandise. So you can then create products based around, say for example, it was the podcast, etc. I could start creating stuff relating to the podcast for the Shunart podcast and offering you guys stuff, and over time you're beginning to generate multiple streams of income. And who knows, it could even turn into passive income, which is the ultimate dream for everybody, which is basically bringing in money while you sleep, which is great. So make sure to have a think about what I've talked about today. I know I've dived into a lot of things to help you kind of just think about going down that path into becoming a freelancer or basically a sole trader and starting your own business. And then last but not least, it's the thing that I think so many people struggle at is know your audience, know your clients. Do the thing that you care about and make sure that what you're doing is great. Deliver great quality results for them, help them as much as they can, and as a result you'll be able to get the money that you're aiming for and live the life that you want to you want to have. So I hope that's helped. And the best way to know your clients is before you commit to anything, whether it's a proposal or any agreements, make sure to arrange a few meetings beforehand, get to know them, figure out what they're trying to achieve, and does it line up with what you're trying to achieve as well, and does it seem realistic for your goals as well, and take it from there. But as always, if you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to leave a like. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'm always happy to help. You guys know me, I love doing this, it's my favourite thing to do. So feel free to comment below, smash the subscribe button as always, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.